wooden sphere. Why would anybody need one of these? I don't know. But it sure is a lot of fun making it. You want to see how I did it? Hang around. I'll show you how it's done. After rounding your blank, you wanted to use your calipers and take a measurement of the true diameter. And using that same setting, go ahead and mark out the length of your sphere. And then measure for the halfway point between those two and make a line all the way around your blank. These are going to help you to establish the early parts of your shape. Now at this point, you're really just making some room to be able to work, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to get this spherical in shape, not necessarily shooting for a perfect sphere. Now that I've accomplished a somewhat spherical shape, I'm going to go ahead and part my sphere away from the blank. Here you can see me shaping a piece of scrap wood, a cutoff from another project, shaping it into a holder that'll allow me to hold the sphere as I continue the process of rounding it off. You obviously don't want anything with a point, so the point here is to cut a concave in the face of the holder. So now that I've shaped the front, the face of the holder, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to turn my attention to the back portion. This piece is actually going to fit into the live center, and I use a Nova live center system for my tailstock, and it uses a number 2 stubby Morse taper for all of the accessories that go into it. So I'm using my calipers here to replicate the taper on the accessories so that this will fit right into my tailstock or live center with a friction fit. As you can see, successful taper fits nicely. So now I'm going to repeat the same process with an additional piece of scrap wood to make the piece that will go into the chuck to hold the sphere. Now that I have both those pieces made, I go ahead and mount the sphere between those two parts, making sure that the center line around the circumference of the sphere is lined up between the 2 points. At this point, you go ahead and start rounding off your sphere. Something that I learned is if you put a light behind the sphere, what'll end up happening is you'll see basically a silhouette of a perfect sphere. And at that point, you can just cut away the high spots, which will get you down to your sphere. Now I'll go ahead and share with you that when I did this the first time, this thing was a hot mess all the way until the very end. So if you don't feel like you're getting your results early on, don't worry, you'll get there. You just have to keep working at it. The other thing too is I did some research on this after the fact. I didn't do a lot ahead of time, and I learned a couple of things. One of those things partly by research and partly by experience I learned is I believe I made the holders a little bit too large to hold my sphere. But it did work out just fine. I made 3 spheres successfully using this setup. The other thing that I learned was that you're not supposed to cut away the center line. You're supposed to work around that. And if you cut the center line away, you'll end up working really hard and trying to chase it down. So just don't do that. So once you've gotten it as close as you think you can get it, this is when you bring out the sandpaper. And basically, I did the same thing. I sanded it, and then I turned it 90 degrees, sanded some more, turned it 90 degrees, sanded some more, and till I got it where I was pretty happy with it. Then I applied a little bit of friction polish, and that's it. Turned out much nicer than I thought it would, and it was easier than I thought as well. I highly recommend that you all give it a shot. That was a lot of fun, and also not as hard as I thought it would be. Turning a sphere is a lot of fun. And if you're like me and you turn several artistic type bowls, such as live edge bowls and things like that, I think turning spheres would be a great addition as a decorative piece. So you put your bowl on the table and fill it up with different sizes and materials of spheres. That would be great. It's also a good use for cutoffs. You can make them in all different sizes and shapes, all different types of cutoffs. I imagine it will work equally well to glue scraps together to make blanks, make some beautiful spheres. Anyway, I took a few seconds and I turned this little holder here, right? Basically the same concept that I used to make the holders for the lathe. You just concave out one surface, the face of it, and then you can shape it however you like. And then you have a nice little holder, so if you want to display your spheres, you could do that. So anyway, if you're new to this, if you're new to my channel and you like what you see, I'm going to try to be putting out more videos like this to help people learn how to do what I like to do. So if you like the video and you find it useful, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. And by all means, leave me a comment. I love to get comments. I try really hard to get back to everybody. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but I will get back to you. And above all else, thanks for joining me in my shop. I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.